Alfredo Ortiz is the president and CEO of the Job Creators Network. So, big announcement earlier this week, Alfredo, about the association health plans. Why is this a very, very big deal for small businesses and anybody who works for small business?
Yeah, Michael, thank you for having me on the show. And yeah, that was a huge, huge announcement that came out of the Department of Labor, and especially, again, for small business owners, because finally they will have an opportunity to play on a level playing field with their larger corporate employers out there, in many cases competitors, and really be able to have an opportunity to buy health care potentially for themselves and for their employees on a much more affordable basis. And the kind of health care that they want and need for their employees, not that it's mandated by the government like it was with Obamacare.
The idea here is it's a conservative approach to getting more people insured, because we all want more people insured. This should save small businesses between $2,000 and $4,000 per employee, right?
That's correct, and that's exactly the idea, though. I mean, what a novel idea overall, if you think about it. Let's go ahead and actually offer something that people want to buy instead of forcing them. And in many cases, before the repeal of this one particular part, right, they were penalized for not buying something that they didn't want to buy. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? We know that we want on that front, but now they'll actually have a choice to be able to pick what they want at, what different levels and kind of coverage. And it's amazing to be able to also cross state lines, which is an amazing thing. And in many cases, the only requirement that's going to require is, for example, there's what's called a commonality of interest, which is kind of a fancy term of just basically saying, let's go ahead and find something that an industry shares. For example, let's say realtors. Realtors can band together, for example, now and buy that kind of, policy that crosses across state lines. And so finally, overall, we're going to have an opportunity here again, to show that you don't have to mandate something like Obamacare did to be able to get people to buy more of it.
Okay, what's important about this is we're now not talking about something that's just bureaucrats in Washington. We're talking about real people and real lives. In other words, I know there are people listening to us right now who don't have health insurance because they don't think they need it and because it's so very expensive. But think about what it would mean to you if you could save $300 a month on your health insurance. Would you consider it? Because that's really what we're talking about, isn't it?
That's absolutely right. And the amazing thing, too, in this particular case, self-proprietors, so basically if you're an employer-employee, you own your small business, you will also be able to be eligible and band together with other folks within your industry, other small businesses, to be able to have the same opportunities and same scale of benefits that a large employer would be when they go ahead and insure their employees. So it's an amazing opportunity. But to your earlier point, first kicked off this segment, unfortunately, all this other stuff is just crowding this great information and great activity that's happening under the Trump administration and across the government that's really going to be helpful for people across the country.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I also try to call people's attention to, Alfredo, and I know you're on top of it too, is how much money we're saving the public, the Trump administration is saving the public, because of reducing disability under Social Security. In other words, we all want to save Social Security. And one of the things that have been bleeding Social Security dry was all of the people applying for disability payments. The Trump administration has tightened up requirements, and also there are now jobs for people, so you don't have to go on disability. That's it's going to save the American people billions of dollars, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And it's that kind of activity that we need to have more of, again, even on the regulatory front. We've talked about this before. The amount of savings that is really happening of our economy on the regulatory front. I mean, remember, the market took off from almost pretty much from the first day of the election, really did kind of take off overall. Had a little bit of a dip, but really has been up since Election Day. And that's because the attack on the regulatory front has been real and has been broad and has been extremely effective. The Trump administration, I think, had promised 2 regs to be pulled for everyone introduced, or up to like 23, 24 different regulations for everyone. I mean, regulations, over-regulatory environment that existed under the Obama administration was costing the economy, the U.S. economy, about $1.6 trillion per year was the latest estimate that I saw. So this has been a big opportunity for the government to get out of the way and let business continue and people, quite frankly, be able to run their lives the way they should, and the way they want, and in an environment that's actually conducive and friendly to free enterprise.
What's $1.6 trillion, which is an amazing amount to think about.
Yeah, every year.
Listen, folks should go to taxcutswork.com. That's the website with Job Creators Network. And you can find up there information about how these tax cuts are working for you, and also find out about what you can do to make sure it all doesn't come crashing down and head in a different direction, because there's a disaster in the congressional races. On Tuesday of this week, just past, the Democrats nominated an open socialist, somebody who is to the left of Bernie Sanders, undoing a 10-term Democrat. They're moving in a very radical direction. And right now, to keep our economy going in a pro-business, deregulatory environment, with reform in mind, find out how you can get involved at taxcutswork.com. Go to taxcutswork.com with Job Creators Network. Alfredo Ortiz, thanks for everything you do and continue to do. And we'll be right back.